This is my Dexcom G5 receiver. This is a continuous glucose monitor. Well, part of the system that is a continuous glucose monitor. Essentially what this is a receiver that talks to a transmitter that's attached to a sensor on my body that measures my blood sugar. Now, I've had this one for a little over a year, this receiver, and unfortunately, it has a serious problem. The other day I stopped my sensor session, so that means the sensor I was wearing needed to be replaced, and I actually shut this unit down. Everything was working fine, and when I put the new sensor on, I turned this unit back on, and as it booted up, the normal boot sequence resulted in this error here. Call tech support, ERR68. Actually, it was 121 that I was seeing, but it sort of alternates between those two. Okay, I connected it to my computer, and as you can see, it's booting up now. Now, normally this little bar kind of sits on the end here for just a little while, and then it fills up the rest of the bar there. You see there's a little bit left, and that's fully booted. But what happens here is it actually freezes on this part, and then I get that error. So the Dexcom G5 has a 1-year warranty from the manufacturer. And even though the date on here is 2015, I did receive this kind of at the very end of 2015, and I started using it in the early 2016. And I never had any issues with it. I mean, you can see it's a little scratched up on the back because it's been in my pocket with my keys. But I do have a kind of a cell phone screen protector here I cut out to cover just the main part of the screen. And there's the error. That's the vibrate motor making that buzzing now. No, and let's stop that. So yeah, ERR121, ERR68. I think I saw ERR69. But no matter what I do, I can't get this thing working anymore. My insurance company has already sent me a new one, which is this right here. So this is what it looks like when it's normally operating. They have the same exact model number. They both have the same exact revision number. As far as I know, these are identical units. Calling tech support to Dexcom, they said basically once you get this error, there's absolutely nothing you can do, and there's no way to revive this unit. They're built very solidly. There's absolutely nothing, no give in the case. They're solid as anything. I think it's time to open this up and take a look inside and see what's in here. Lots of cracking noises, but so far still solid as a rock. This is obviously sonically welded. Well, I used a knife and I peeled the front off, but yeah, so no screws. You can definitely see little metal stakes in here, so there's probably screws to kind of hold the assembly together when the case is before it's sonically glued together, or some other way. But that front panel is held on extremely tightly. It's a very strong polycarbonate kind of material. As you pry it up, it actually cracks and breaks. There we go. I am Toto, Sanyo cell. So here's the back cover, and there's the reset button, which has a little plastic membrane there, and there's a bit of foam here for the cell. Well, that's kind of cool. And when you push the reset button, it pushes through there. It has tiny little screws here holding this on, so I'm going to bust out my little kit here, and we're going to try to take this apart. Here's a close-up of the second board on the Dexcom. We have the loudspeaker here, which connects to the other board, and we have the vibrate motor here. That's the board-to-board interconnect. And here's a couple of Bluetooth antennas. We have crystals on here. And then we have these two chips here, CC2510, F32. Not sure what that is, but you can see that it has a glue coating under there, so it's a BGA chip. And this had a sticker on top of it, N51827 QFAGO. It's a bit worn off on one side, so I'm not sure what it is. But on the other side of this is the keypad, obviously. There's the vibrate motor through there. So I don't know if the problem lies on this board or the other board, but as you can see, it's very well made. It's isolated. It's screwed in on many different points here, and there doesn't appear to be any physical damage on here. Here's the back of the Dexcom board. This is what faces the back of the case. So lithium-ion battery connects here, and the speaker connects here. And these are interesting connectors. You can just push the connector down onto these. You don't actually slide it in this way. You just push it straight down onto the pins, and it holds onto it very tightly. That's the reset button for the entire unit. We got another like BGA looking chip here. I don't know what kind of chip that is, but lots of test points. But I have a feeling that all of the RF components in this are in the other board. The earlier generation of this board was the G4, and it communicated with a proprietary radio protocol, but this particular board uses Bluetooth. So it probably goes without saying that the chips on the other board are probably the Bluetooth ones, and that this processor board was probably the same between this G5 unit and the previous G4 unit, which used the proprietary radio protocol. Not much to report on this LCD screen. So with the LCD removed, here we are on the inside of the board. Obviously an Atmel ARM processor is the core to this thing. And we have this particular component here, another BGA chip. So two BGA chips. Is this a RAM perhaps? That's probably RAM. The board-to-board interconnect here, and here's the micro USB connector, so I'll use that for charging. Obviously a lot of dust has gotten in. All in all, nothing looks out of the ordinary with this board here. Everything seems to be in decent shape. So I'm really not sure why this thing is not working anymore. Alright, so it's bare bones right now. I'm assuming that basically when it detects some kind of a problem, it probably writes it into an EEPROM, and that prevents it from ever working properly again. It's probably some kind of self-checking diagnostic thing that has to do with health. Because this is a medical device, if any kind of problems are ever detected, it probably needs to go to a fail-safe mode that will just never work again. That way I couldn't kind of get it back to a working condition again and start to use it. I have the speaker, and I have, of course, the vibrate motor disconnected, so there's that same error again. So interesting, if you boot it without this connected, hardware RFU. Okay, so at least the problem doesn't necessarily exist in this board being dead. Could still be one of the chips on here. Remember I said just lift up on this. Boop, it pops right off like that. Well, here's all the components that make up a Dexcom G5. Unfortunately, if you get that error, 121 or 98, I think there's nothing to do. There's no way to fix this thing. You essentially just need to order a new one, or hopefully it's within the 1-year warranty and they'll replace it. It seems to be pretty well designed, I have to say. You know, I haven't dropped mine recently, but it has fallen on the floor before. I think the worst case is I dropped it on the road once, but that was many, many months ago, probably 6 months ago, and I haven't had a single issue. So it is strange that it decided to stop working basically when it went from a perfectly working condition to just powering off and powering back on again, and that was it. It was dead for good. But anyways, at least I'm going to get a useful lithium-ion battery cell out of this. This is a decent cell. And anyways, if you found any of this interesting, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. You can subscribe for more videos. Put any comments down below if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.